Welcome to the most difficult campaign I have ever undertaken in Europa Universalis 4. Poland faces two challenges today. Survive 100 years and build a powerful Commonwealth empire. Why will this be so difficult? I'm playing on very hard difficulty, which already gives my enemies massive bonuses. But the AI is still dumb, so that's not all. On top of that, I'm adding the Xrome AI mod, which greatly strengthens my opponents and weakens me, to the point where I'm literally supposed to cry. This mod makes the AI play almost flawlessly. Here, even the smallest mistake or any exhausting war is an open invitation for my neighbors to partition my country. Will I manage to survive this historical trial? Let's find out. Welcome Imperialists, Lookas here. And if you're looking for great game deals, I recommend ENEBA, a long-time partner of this channel. And as it happens, besides the ongoing promotion, I have a code for you, but for it to work, you have to use my link, which you'll find in the description and pinned comment. Check it out. Personally, I recommend the Altars, which is much cheaper than on Steam or Victoria, especially if you're in the mood for a solid economic game. Since I'm playing with a mod, I'm not playing on Iron Man mode. And just so you're sure I'm not cheating, at the final frame, unedited, I'll show you the console, which should be completely empty. Besides, supporters of my Polish channel already have access to this save on Discord. Let's start with the mod settings. I want everything here set to the maximum difficulty, so I'm giving the AI some extremely strong bonuses. But worse than that, I also get extra penalties. The one that will hurt me most is the -2 to diplomatic reputation. Because of that, my allies might, for example, refuse to answer a call to arms. The AI will also have improved capabilities when it comes to constructing buildings, developing infrastructure, and recruiting special units beyond the usual limits. Yes, that could mean the entire Ottoman army ends up made of Janissaries, and if you take a closer look at those units, they are actually very powerful. And if I enable this option too, the AI will go on an absolute conquest rampage. So yeah, I'm literally playing with the worst possible settings for this mod. My supporter Lookas, some of you might recognize that name, especially if you play multiplayer with Zlewik, said this campaign is harder than multiplayer games. And looking at the army stats alone, I have to admit he might be right. Here's what army sizes look like without the mod. So yes, you can thank Lookas in the comments because I'm probably going to stop talking to him. Anyway, when you're playing on very hard, alliances are usually the most important thing, so that's where I'll start. I just saw that Austria could be a really strong ally, but getting an alliance with the Habsburgs can be seriously difficult. I've got a diplomatic reputation advisor, so I'm hiring him. In the estates, I'm taking the privilege for religious diplomats. Thanks to that, all Catholic countries will view me more favorably. Unfortunately, Austria and I don't share any rivals. They're not on the list, but since I'm here, the Teutonic Order becomes my new rival. I'll also quickly start improving relations with Austria. I hope I can quickly secure a royal marriage. Now I'm taking alliances with Bohemia and Lithuania. They have 50,000 reasons to say yes. I'm not going for a royal marriage, and I'm not trying to establish a personal union over Burgundy, because I have a feeling both France and Austria have strong arguments against that. I'm removing cavalry from my army. I won't be using it, just like in every campaign where I expect things to be tough. You know, the strength of units is represented by those squares, cavalry has 3, infantry has 2, but infantry is half the cost. After getting rid of the cavalry, my finances look much better. Especially since on very hard, you never, and I mean never ever, turn off fort maintenance. But back to the estates for a moment. I'm only giving the Szlachta the privilege for an extra military point. That's because I plan to complete the mission to deal with the magnates in a way that weakens the Szlachta, which means this estate can't hold 4 privileges, and more importantly, I'll need to have 50% crown land. Then I hand out practically the standard privileges. For the estate agenda, I'll aim for the mission that gives me a cheaper military advisor, of course using the manpower trick, and finally, after all that, reclaim land. As for the Polish parliament, I'll wait for the debate that returns crown land. Maybe I'll get lucky, since the debates change every month. I also don't plan to convert to Orthodox, so this time I'll be converting those territories to the one true Catholic faith. Before I forget, I'll mark the province of Komno as part of Poland's strategic interest, so I can possibly take it during the war against the Teutonic Order in a few years. Otherwise, I just forget about it later. I'll also just hire a few extra advisors. And that's basically it for the opening moves. My next actions will aim at preparing for one of two things. Either a war with Hungary or a war with the Teutonic Order. I just need to watch and see which opportunity presents itself. It's not exactly normal, where I can attack 40,000 Hungarian troops supported by 100,000 Austrian ones. That's why I secured my alliances with royal marriages. In January, I insult Savoy, who is Austria's rival, which lets me establish royal ties with Austria. And once I have over 100 positive relations with Austria, there's a chance a little heart icon will appear, allowing me to form an alliance. Speaking of alliances, I just lost my alliance with Bohemia, because they preferred an alliance with the Teutonic Order. On top of that, Bohemia suddenly rivaled Lithuania, so the alliance was unsustainable. This is off to a great start. At least I finally got a debate to recover 5% crown land. Still, I'll try to improve relations with Bohemia, maybe I can restore the alliance. Okay, I don't believe that anymore. So now I'm focusing on improving relations with the countries you can see. During Władysław III's succession, I won't pursue Jagiellon. Realistically, Lithuania is a stronger ally than a personal union. Because that's how it works on very hard difficulty. When an AI-controlled country becomes a subject of the player, it loses all difficulty bonuses. And I'd honestly rather Lithuania keeps those 50,000 troops. Poland, meanwhile, gets a really good king, August II, and right after that, during the Moldavian crisis, I got the country as a vassal, which will actually be more of a hindrance. This is the first time I've had such high liberty desire among my vassals. So continuing the Moldavian rebellion mission, maybe this time I'll secure their independence desires. It's looking a bit better. I'm also improving relations with Lithuania a lot, because as you can see, I got a -100 relations penalty for refusing the union. Alright, I forgot something. The Polish succession is a Lithuanian mission. Now Lithuania has a casus belli to establish a personal union over me, and honestly, I'm screwed. Yep, I really should have saved that Bohemian alliance. But Lithuania and I have the historical friends modifier. That means once the casus belli expires, after 25 years, I'll be able to re-establish an alliance. Doesn't change the fact that, for now, all my plans have gone down the drain. Because I was counting on military support from both Bohemia and Lithuania in a war against Hungary. That would have given me a chance. And I was hoping those countries would defend me from the Ottomans too. Luckily, Poland has a mission path I can follow to gain protection from the powerful Austrian army. So I am building up my army, insulting Bohemia. Your beer is sour. I need to form 2 more alliances, ideally with Brandenburg and really anyone else. That'll let me complete the Varna Aftermath mission, which of course gives me the opportunity to form a personal union over Bohemia. But even better, it opens the path to joining the Empire, once I have 160 relations with Austria, which I've achieved. And thankfully the Emperor accepted my request, so now he'll defend me since I've become part of the Empire. Unfortunately, he still refused to form an alliance. The price, sadly, was the loss of kingdom status. I've become the Polish Dutch. As for Lithuania, I think that alliance will come back eventually, so I'll keep improving relations. I just need to wait the 25 years until they lose the casus belli on my throne. Unless, of course, I decide to conquer Lithuanian or Hungarian territory. Because I have received the following claims from these missions. Permanent ones. Wait, the Teutonic Order is joining the Empire? Looks like every country is running under Austria's protection. The worst part is, I couldn't stop it. I've still had a truce with the Teutonic Order, which is only now ending. Now I'm improving relations with my subjects. I want to integrate Mazovia as soon as possible. I have to admit, I'm very curious to see how Muscovy develops in this mod. Instead of attacking Novgorod, it's gone for the Golden Horde. Oh right, there's a Lithuanian-Novgorod alliance. That might explain it, since Novgorod here has 33,000 troops. I'll slowly be developing my best provinces, the ones that produce clothing using diplomatic points only, and only up to development level 10. This will increase my production income and trade power in those provinces. After improving relations with Brandenburg, I'll now start building up favors with them. Meanwhile, I've gained the patronage of Renaissance art in Krakow. Totally worth the money. Thanks to that, I'll quickly embrace the Renaissance in Krakow. And naturally, to balance things out, I get hit with a comet. The Burgundian succession and Castile got the country. If Castile survives the war for Burgundy, it could become a really strong ally. Speaking of good allies, I just sealed an alliance with Austria. Now I'm feeling a bit more confident. Looking at the support, Austria will remain emperor for now and is demanding that Burgundy's land be added to the empire. In 54 I was able to start annexing Mazovia, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I can also carry out the first government reform. And honestly, I'll go with standard taxes here, which will weaken the nobility. What the fuck? Castile already got the Burgundian lands? That moment when you ally one of the strongest countries in the region and they lose half their army because they declared war on France. So I'll also try to get a royal marriage with Castile. Maybe I can form an alliance with Spain. This could be the opportunity I've been waiting for, or the beginning of that country's downfall. army up, make the ruler a general, and actually I rolled a pretty good one. I'll also hire a free company of mercenaries. Even so, the Hungarians will have the numerical advantage. I'll ask Brandenburg to prepare for war, while I pull my troops far behind the fort line to let them recover morale. My maximum plan for this war is to take all of Slovakia from Hungary. There's a gold mine there and a few valuable resources. Plus, the fortresses in these two spots can hold off even the largest enemy armies, and as much money from Hungary as possible. The minimum plan is to just take those two provinces and as much money as I can. War reparations would be ideal. Well, let's get to it. Fortunately, Brandenburg is joining the war right away, and they're doing it for favor points. I order my vassals to attach to my armies so they don't run around aimlessly, ideally joining the mercenary stack. And with Brandenburg joining, I have a slight advantage, but only a slight one. Oh, I love that so many Hungarian troops and their allies gathered in that province. I like it a bit less that I had to fight a battle at Halic, but luckily I didn't take too big a penalty from it. Still, it resulted in heavy losses. But after that battle, my ruler got a bonus to infantry command, so now they'll fight more effectively. After that battle, I take out more loans from the merchants, those cheap 1% ones. I've consolidated my army, and in place of the regular forces, I'm hiring the Grand Company because I can't afford massive manpower losses. Meanwhile, my allies are wiping out Hungary's allies very good. I'm sending my main forces to capture the war goal. I am sending the mercenary army to Trenchton. It's really important to capture that fortress quickly. And the second mercenary army I'll keep in Novi Sonj. Austria, in the meantime, lost a war against France, but I don't think they lost anything. Thankfully. Fortunately, the Hungarian armies went after my weakest ally, which works in my favor. A bit worse, Brandenburg is having Berlin besieged. But maybe I can start picking off their armies one by one once that fortress falls. So it's the usual race, whose forts fall faster. Each siege tick I have a 42% chance of taking that fort. Took me just under a year. But that's not the end, now I need to hurry. I've got maybe 2 to 3 years before the Danzig crisis hits, if it even triggers. And I won't lie, taking over this whole area is super important to me. So from Dresden, I immediately redirect my army to Poznan, then to Berlin. The Hungarian troops are retreating. Though in the end, there's still a pretty tough battle at Berlin, which I win despite taking heavier losses. I quickly use diplomacy to secure military access to my ally. I want to save his capital. Worked out beautifully. Another battle at Pozsony, my troops got caught there, but thankfully I've got more forces nearby. And the Hungarians get river crossing penalties, so I might just win these. Especially since reinforcements are arriving. Right? They are. Okay, great. I send my completely depleted mercenary army back to my own land, they'll replenish faster there. Meanwhile, I unlock Admin Tech 5, and for my first idea group, I'm going with quality. Might surprise you, but I think it's the best choice. Because it quickly improves infantry and gives several other bonuses. At the end, it grants discipline, just broke the Hungarian army at Berlin. And now I think I'll wipe out the Croatian troops too. Well, no, I just inflicted massive losses. Still, my minimum war plan is now achievable. And of course, just when things are going well, what has to happen? A Polish rebellion. Unless I accept the Niezawa privileges. But I remind myself, I want to crush the magnates in my country. So I send my mercenaries and allies to Sandomir, and I say no to the nobles. So I only lost 4,000 troops unnecessarily. My next move is to knock Hungary's allies out of this war. Hopefully, now is the right time. Yes, I can do it. Alright, let's take a white piece. I don't want anything from those countries. This war is extremely bloody for now. And of course, right on cue, the free Danzig event, or more precisely, the Danzig versus Teutonic Order war. This is going to be interesting. Even more interesting, Danzig starts as usual with 12,000 troops. The Teutonic Order has 27,000. Not great. What's weird is that Danzig got kicked out of the Holy Roman Empire. I thought they'd join. Naturally, I am immediately called into the war and I answer the call. Anything to help Danzig survive longer. Let's hope Bohemia doesn't join. Meanwhile, I sign a white peace with Munich. Great. Wait, Danzig has already fallen. Thankfully, it's an offensive war, so there's a good chance the Teutonic Order doesn't have 10 favors to call Bohemia in. This war is still winnable for me. If Bohemia joined, I'd be doomed. Sieging Pest for a year and a half, great. But that lets me end the war with Hungary after I smash them again at Berlin. Lost another 4,000 manpower because things are going too smoothly. In Poznan, I take local defensiveness, I'm liberating territory for Brandenburg, and basically ending my war with Hungary on the minimum goal plus some money. If it weren't for the constant interference from Bohemia, I could have taken all of Slovakia. What helps is that I've gotten big enough, over 200 dev, that I can recruit an independent company. Also, look how much the Teutonic Order is over their force limit. Luckily, I quickly crushed their army. Oh no, they called in the Livonian Order. I'm not even pretending I can win these without serious death anymore. Thankfully, I still have numerical superiority and a new army is recovering. Now I'm waiting for morale to recover, then I'll try to save Krakow. Unless Moldova attacks it first. On the bright side, the enemy left Poznan. That resets the siege progress on that fort. Very good. After winning that battle, I also scorched the land in Krakow. It'll give some penalties to the enemy. Those two forts will definitely be under heavy siege. In Poznan, I keep the defensive edict active, which, combined with the salt, significantly slows down their siege. Luckily, I managed to storm and take Ostroda, cost me 3000 mercenaries. But I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Maybe I can at least secure a white peace. Then Mecklenburg joins the war, because who else wouldn't join at this point? Luckily no one else. Wait, no, Volgas can. Alright, I'm back to crushing enemy armies on the Poznan-Krakow fortress line. Hopefully that gets the Czech army to leave Krakow. Yes, I've got it. I take military tech 6, it costs a lot of points, but it's a huge power spike. It increases infantry strength, battle width and tactics, which reduces manpower losses. Thanks to that, I win another battle at Poznan, taking half the losses of my enemy. Quick consolidation on pause and I win another battle. This one was more even though. Still, not yet the time to go on the offensive. So I tell my vassals to back off and attach to my armies. I have to wait for my mercenaries and my own troops to recover manpower. Maybe in the meantime, the forts of the Livonian Order will fall. That would be nice. Though from what I see, maybe occupying the Bohemian capital will force a peace with them. But I can't make peace with them, of course, because I'm not the war leader. So all I can do is defend my forts and wait for those countries to leave the war. There's no point in sieging, it usually costs more manpower than fighting battles, and by battles I mean fights where I'm at least equal in strength, inflicting more losses than I take, and saving my manpower in the process. The first enemy leaves the war and Bohemia's going way over force limit. Their limit is 30k and they've got 34k mercs alone. Okay, Głogów has fallen, I'm pushing further into Silesia. No idea why Danzig is still fighting, but oh well. Aha, peace with Bohemia. That leaves the Teutonic Order and Mecklenburg. Very good. So now I can start disbanding some of my merc armies, especially those with no manpower left. No point overspending and going into even deeper debt. And somehow I actually won this war. I can't believe I pulled it off. 110,000 versus 163,000. All thanks to two fortresses, the fortress of Poznan and the fortress of Krakow. That's the whole story. So at this point I've got the standard Polish opening. Well, almost no union over Bohemia, reached it about 15 years too late. So now I need to deal with my newly acquired gold mine and the whole Prussian region to develop trade here. And it's time to finally deal with the magnates, which won't be easy at all. In the near future, I won't be waging any wars, so I'm lowering maintenance, but I'm not disbanding the mercenary army I have until my manpower starts to recover. Then I'll slowly start recruiting a new army and only then get rid of the mercenary one. There's too high a chance that Lithuania or the Ottoman Empire, for example, could attack me while I'm reorganizing my forces. Besides, my truce with Bohemia lasts until 1470, and the casus belli for forming a union is valid until 1472, so it's possible I will go for the Kingdom of Bohemia after all. After all, I currently have Austria as an ally and an Austria where I have favor points. I'm also going to hold off on the Prussian Confederation a bit, since I want access to the sea. But that action would get me territory from Gdansk, which would lower my crown land share. First priority will be repaying those 1% loans. Only so I can take them again later to pay off the 4% ones. Great, the Renaissance just appeared in Krakow and rebels popped up in Hont. I won't embrace the Renaissance just yet because it's a bit expensive. I won't introduce fasting either because Castile just did it. Shame! It would have given me a massive advantage in Baltic trade. Luckily, Poland has other ways to achieve that. And the timing works out well, since I'm passing another bureaucratic reform and of course I'm taking my favorite one, the one that increases tax income by 50%. Poland makes 14 gold from taxes early on, so that'll boost my income by 7. I just need to assign edicts everywhere. Well, almost everywhere. Some parts of Red Ruthenia still need to be converted to Catholicism. Great income. In Hont, I'm developing the gold mine as fast as I can to 10 diplomatic development. Then, at 15 total development, I'll take infrastructure and develop the province further using military points. The mine is dealt with, and look how much my income has increased. Remember that after the war, I was barely half a ducat in the green. Unfortunately, I had to wait 5 years to reclaim land. In the meantime, I'll also ask Austria to prepare for the upcoming war, and perfect! A noble rebellion against the king who wants to take away their privileges. A big one. But that's nothing King August II can't handle. I really cared about that mission, because now Poland gets a unique ability to add and revoke any number of privileges without further rebellions. Basically, I can do whatever I want. And if I have enough stability, I can even remove Golden Liberty. For now though, I'll keep it because it gives me plus 33% manpower. Besides, I can now grant exclusive trade rights and each one increases mercantilism by 3 points. 100% mercantilism increases trade power in my provinces by about 250%. That's a huge deal in this region. Especially early in the game, I'm literally assigning an edict then revoking it. Sure, the estate gets mad, but I'll handle that later. Okay, fine, 200%. Now I'm adding more privileges that give me points. And from the clergy, I'm taking the privilege that increases my governing capacity, since I was getting close to the cap. Now I'm dealing with the Gdansk and Prussian Confederation situation, taking West Prussia from Gdansk and forming the Duchy of Prussia. I am also moving the capital to Warsaw, since Kraków is at development level 30 and I don't want to develop it further right now. I'll also change the culture in that region from Prussian to Polish. Honestly, those few provinces aren't worth the culture slot, and not accepting the culture brings some annoying penalties. All these moves were basically to prepare for the invasion of Bohemia and the fight for the Czech crown. It also raised my army count from 33,000 to 45,000, so now Poland and Bohemia have comparable armies, but I'll have the Emperor on my side. And honestly, I won't even get a coalition for that union. Besides, I still have a tech advantage, level 6 versus level 5. Honestly, I'll leave the conquest of Bohemia to the Austrians. Prague will end up in my hands anyway, since that's the war goal, and I'll focus on wiping out the smaller principalities that are still part of this war. There are a few. Although I am also building a spy network in Bohemia, since it speeds up fortress sieges. Don't tell me the Austrians are going to mess everything up again. Turns out the Czechs are a bit tougher than I expected. First of all, they caught up in technology, and second, they've already completed their ideas while I've only unlocked the first two. In the meantime, Poland has become a great power, though I have to admit, I'm surprised by the list. Usually it's other countries in those spots. And the Ottoman Empire has now rivaled me with 150,000 troops. Back to the war with Bohemia, it's brutal. Czech troops are inflicting nearly twice the casualties they're taking. The only thing saving me is that the Czechs have run out of manpower, and you can see it from the size of their army. I even had to replace my large 19,000 company with Hajduks, a fresh 16,000 mercenary unit, because I literally ran out of manpower. I must admit, fighting wars and battles on this mod is far more satisfying than on regular difficulty. Still, taking Prague will take a while. I really don't know what the Austrians are doing, but just look at the massive losses they're suffering. Fortunately, I've already taken care of most of Bohemia's allies. The Czechs also seem less eager to fight now, though from time to time I managed to win a pretty solid victory in this war. Wow, could it be the Austrians are finally about to score a major victory? Of course not. Although I think I just destroyed the entire Czech army. Now it's just a matter of taking Prague. So I've withdrawn my manpower army and finally started training it, and I think that's how I'll continue from now on, since I'm finally turning a profit. It's a good moment to start generating professionalism, and to gradually convert my army into a full manpower based one. Oh ho, I've just noticed a very favorable war broke out between Muscovy and the Ottoman Empire. Curious who will win that one. And after 5 years I can finally end this war by securing Bohemia under my personal union. Plus a lot of money, most of which the Austrians will take. Wow, that was an insanely bloody war. Usually wars like this happen post 1600, and better yet, Spain just agreed to form an alliance with me. Though realistically, Spain is more of a defensive ally than an offensive one. To maintain the personal union, since I'm not worried about liberty desire, I need to improve relations by at least +1 before my ruler dies. After repaying my loans from this war, the first thing I'm doing is reducing construction costs, by taking a papal decision and getting some construction contribution from the burghers. Though that didn't help much, they don't like me enough yet. Anyway, I plan to develop the country over the next few years. The first buildings I'm putting up are churches, they're really profitable. Only then will I build production buildings. And in Poland's case, I'll literally build them in every single province. For now, I'm also holding off on progressing further with ideas. First, because I'll soon need to unlock a new tech level. Second, I'll be taking new ideas at tech level 7. Poland also has a mission called Polish Renaissance, which reduces idea cost by 5%. Not much, but it's something. The funniest thing is that now I'd fund Poland's construction through wars against Hungary, Lithuania and Muscovy. But on this difficulty level, that's basically impossible. My enemies have enormous armies. Practically 200,000 troops versus my 40,000. If you look here, the Ottoman army can already reach 200,000. Castile, 134,000. Muscovy, 106,000. Insanely strong. And the Ottomans are making tons of money, 107 gold. And none of it is war reparations, not a single ducat. I've enacted the Polish Renaissance, which also gives me access to an amazing advisor, Nikolaos Copernicus, who's not only good, but also cheap. I can't afford to upgrade him to level 5 just yet, but I'll work toward it. For my next idea group, I'll go for economic ideas, since when combined with quality ideas, I'll get a policy that grants extra discipline. The rest of the bonuses are also pretty solid. I'm also moving my trade capital to the Baltic node, since I already have decent control there and I'll earn more than by collecting in Krakow. Right now I'm making a full ducat more. Wait, why do the Prussians have a province here? I'm also building a fortress in Przemysl and in Warsaw, and I've started converting my army to a manpower-based one. Seriously? An event for a badass general. Wonder what I'll get. Stanisław looks okay, but I think I'll wait for tech level 8 before starting the next war. Or at least until I finish my ideas to get the discipline bonus and a stronger army. Interesting, Lithuania just attacked Crimea, which is a tributary of the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottomans didn't even respond. Could that country be drowning in debt or something? Doesn't really look like it. Turns out the Ottomans don't even like Crimea. Meanwhile, I've developed Krakow to level 30. And it reached a level 2 trade center, so now I can complete the mission to renew it. That will upgrade it to level 3 and save me 1000 gold on the upgrade. 2 more missions I could complete, but I will hold off until my new ruler ascends the throne, since they improve his stats. I've also started building a Polish trade fleet, and I have expanded my armies, one 24 stack and another 24 stack that will handle sieges. For my next parliamentary decision, I'm taking agrarian reform. Now that I've got a ton of diplomatic points, I'm developing the country. And that's how it went, almost all the way to the year 1500. So for now, my country has survived at least these nearly 60 years of gameplay, but I still need to form the Commonwealth. To do that, I need to conquer these 4 provinces from Lithuania. Lithuania, along with its allies, has around 300,000 troops, so it's going to be a really tough target to defeat, especially since even with my allies, my army is smaller. That's why I have to go about it a bit differently. Attack Hungary with Austria's help and just get rid of the Lithuanian-Danish alliance. To make this war go a bit better, I'll trigger the Golden Era. Anyway, I wanted to use it to develop the lands I already have. This lets me increase my army with another 4 cannons, I pull the fleet back into port and attack Hungary with Austria's help. It still won't be an easy war. Wow, Lithuania even has more forts than usual. I'll be attacking through Kaunas toward Vilnius. Hopefully that'll be enough to break the Lithuanian-Danish alliance. I'm not saving military points, I bombard the forts immediately. Ha! And look, Sweden took advantage of Lithuania being at war with me and declared an independence war against Denmark. A bit late, sure, but they've got England and Muscovy on their side, and Lithuania now has 2 wars. So I pull my armies back. I want to destroy all these minor armies in Wallachia and then head back to Vilnius to capture it as quickly as possible. At this point my armies already have 115 discipline, so they should be a bit better than the enemies. And you can see it in the battles, I inflict way more casualties. But I still have to play carefully, because I'm really low on manpower. 750 is not a lot. And actually I'll check if it's worth changing the edict during the war for some extra manpower. 820, not worth it. First battle with Lithuanian troops happened. I've got better tactics, more discipline, so in terms of manpower I'll be inflicting much higher losses than I should be taking myself. Yep, I totally crushed the Lithuanian army, but then again, I have this brilliant general who even got a morale damage bonus. This might be the moment when I should invest in winged hussars for this army. And you know what? I'm doing it. I'll swap the regular cavalry in my better army for winged hussars. That way I'll be breaking through enemy lines really quickly. But honestly, if I had known that the Swedes would declare such a war on the Danes, I would have just attacked Lithuania directly. Oh well, didn't work out. Again. Alright, Vilnius has fallen and I'm forcing Lithuania to break only that alliance with the Danes. I'll be back in a few years, and after this war I have a feeling Hungary won't be a problem. The army with hussars will handle the battles, the army without hussars will occupy all these territories and the forts of course. And look how quickly I'm shredding their morale. When my cavalry hits their flanks, I am totally smashing their army. From Volgas I also captured Słupsk, And now I've directed all my army solely toward Hungary. From Hungary, I'm now conquering pretty much all of Slovakia and even part of Transylvania. There's a pretty decent fort here, by the way. I'm giving part of Croatia to Austria so they can grab that fort. Then I'm also taking loads of money, of which I'll probably only get 300 gold and war reparations. Oh my god, that was a bloody war, thankfully for the Austrians. Now I'm taking this moment to introduce colonialism in Warsaw. Protestantism has appeared in the world, and to be honest, I'm a bit scared to change religion from Catholicism. At least for now, because my main allies are Castile and Austria, and those countries usually stay Catholic. At some point, changing religion gives you -50 relations with all Catholic nations, and that could end my alliances. So for now, I'll stay Catholic. My truce with Lithuania has expired, so I'm attacking them now, and on their side stands Lubeck, which shouldn't be a problem. But just in case, I'm bringing in Brandenburg for support. My main goal this time will be to capture the capital. First strike goes to Hungary to secure 5 years of peace with them afterward. Okay, I didn't expect that. Nor did I expect 43,000 Hungarian troops. How do they even have that many soldiers? I won the battle, sure, but it was tough. I'm ordering Czech troops to siege the Hungarian capital. I set it as their attack objective. I'll also leave my army here, which is currently recovering. And I'm sending the army with hussars and the better general to defend Moldova. Interesting that Lithuanians go for so much cavalry in their army. Because of that, they get a tactics penalty, which means they'll be taking massive damage. Really massive. 2000 per tick is a gigantic number. Hungarian capital has fallen and their army is losing more battles. And now they'll probably lose another one. Yup, now I'll occupy a few more territories and that'll let me sign peace with them, taking lots of money and war reparations. I'm conquering Hungary and Lithuania basically captured my capital. Alright, pulling back. Unless it falls. Managed to get there in time with reinforcements. Really, discipline is doing wonders here. And that general... Now all that's left is to sign peace with Lithuania. I finished the war with Lithuania, having unfortunately conquered only a few provinces. 2 more, which I need to form the Commonwealth, I leave for now, all because I'm at risk of a coalition. So I'll leave Kiev for another war, and this war was already quite bloody, where I lost only 84,000 troops and my opponent 312,000. Honestly, I have to admit that conquering is much harder in this mod, because these provinces were worth as much in aggressive expansion as half of Lithuania normally. So now to lower my aggressive expansion, I've set my merchants to counteract it. I also hired a diplomatic advisor to improve relations, which will also lower aggressive expansion faster. And honestly, I could really use some prestige, but unfortunately I need to get rid of my heir because he's average. I mean, he just had an accident. After the war, of course, I went back to drilling my troops because that drill advantage is pretty significant, especially at the start of wars. I'm also stockpiling wealth and preparing for the moment when, at tech level 10, military, diplomatic and administrative, I'll build manufactories across all of Poland. And it seems Lithuania's weakness was taken advantage of by its neighbors. Although it's only Livonia and Riga, still weird that Lithuania isn't winning. Right before the new era begins, I do what I always do. I make sure I have this edict activated everywhere, even though it's going to expire next month. And I burn administrative development, tax dev, in every single one of my provinces. All modifiers that affect the value of tax income also increase the money you get from this action. And the religious era has begun. Wow, I think it's the first time I've had it unlocked. In this era, of course, the first thing I'll pursue is the Polish crown. Second, strengthening my trade power. That thing here. Only after that, I'll take a bonus for conquering heathen provinces. Because right now, I'm mostly surrounded by Catholics anyway. And besides, I'm already getting so much aggressive expansion that I won't be conquering too much. With the start of this era, it's finally worthwhile to hand out edicts to increase trade power. Previously, tax income was far more profitable. In 1517, my truce with Hungary ended, so I'll attack them, but not for land. I need money to develop Poland. As if I didn't have enough! Besides, my generals need somewhere to gain experience. And Hungarians are pretty good at getting their asses kicked, especially when they fight on terrain that's not in their favor. I have to admit, what I like about this mod is that I often see AI nations renting out their armies, which doesn't happen in the base game. And this is interesting, I can buy being an elector from the Austrians, and honestly, that's probably worth the investment. Although I did annoy the Czechs because of it. But thanks to that, I can restore the Kingdom of Poland, since electors can be kingdoms. The next idea group I'm taking is quantity. Yes, I know it's rarely picked, that's why I'm picking it this time. It scales really well with Polish ideas. especially when it comes to army size and manpower recovery. And let's be honest, when I'm eventually up against the Ottoman Empire and their 500,000 strong army, I'll need to field at least 250,000. And I become the Kingdom of Poland. To mark the occasion, I founded the National Bank. Okay, maybe not for the occasion, but still the event fired, so that's great. And there's nothing better than lowering interest rates, that's the strongest option available. Eventually I make peace with Hungary. I don't take any land, just a ton of money, war reparations, and I force them to transfer trade to me. So I'll be stealing a bit more money from their region. Wow, this turned out to be bloodier than I thought. And unfortunately, my nobility currently holds a lot of influence, 73%. And because of the Golden Liberty privilege, I can't revoke the land with that decision, so I get rid of Golden Liberty, which will reduce my monthly manpower recovery slightly, but not as badly as one might think, only about 200 points. Getting rid of Golden Liberty is also necessary for one of the later missions, so it's good to remember that. I also begin the annexation of Prussia. I don't intend to make the historical mistake, Prussia just has to be eliminated. A very interesting war broke out. On one side is France, on the other, the Ottoman Empire. Let's see who wins, because it's 251,000 versus 500,000 troops. Looks very interesting. But that heir of mine, definitely not. And over time, it's clear that the Ottomans seem to be winning the war against France. They have 224,000 troops left. The Ottomans still have 506,000, with 129,000 mercenaries. Wow! And their force limit is nearing 600. The time has also come to get rid of the churches and build manufactories in their place, because in this era they'll make me a lot more money. Now I'm almost ready to attack Lithuania again, but it turns out someone is guaranteeing their independence, which means I'll have to fight a much stronger nation now, so I'll ask my allies to prepare for war. Maybe they'll help. Kiev will be my war goal. I only got support from Brandenburg and I'll be facing almost 1,000,000 troops. This is going to be a challenge. Of course, my epic general dies right away. One good thing is that I've now progressed far enough in my national ideas to have 120% discipline. A morale bonus would be nice too, but we'll manage or not. Yeah, this is that moment in the war, the first 6 months, where I need to defend my capital. And it's not looking good. So I called in the Spanish for help, but I don't know if they'll send enough troops. This won't be an easy war, so I'm recruiting troops everywhere. I also had to go over my force limit, which will hit my budget hard. Now I'm basically waiting for the Spanish to engage somewhere. And I start backing them up in battles to boost morale and reinforce. Because there are just too many enemy troops here. Though to be fair, they've taken pretty heavy losses, but they still have a lot of manpower, so I have to keep sending in my armies. And there's no way around it. Without that, I won't win. This is almost like multiplayer. You have to coordinate with your allies and support each other in battles to win. Still, winning isn't coming easily. And I think this is the turning point. My enemies are running out of manpower, they're running out of armies, so you see I am starting to win more battles. Now I'm heading for Smolensk, then I'll try to push toward Moscow. Although Moldavian troops are already doing something here, I have no idea how they ended up here. Hey, since when does Moldova have such a cool skin? After Smolensk falls, I head straight for Moscow. And at this point, Moscow only has 110,000 troops. They've lost half their army. Actually, more like 2/3. And the console is still empty. I make a white peace with Denmark, getting them out of the war. Moscow fell faster than Warsaw, 73 days of siege. And it wouldn't be a Polish episode without burning Moscow, so I burn it. I'll try to capture 2 more forts to squeeze a bit more money from the Muscovites. Right now, they're only offering 1,600 ducats in tribute, half of which goes to me. And beautiful, I got exactly what I wanted from the Muscovites. Wow, they lost 500,000 troops on their own. From Lithuania, I take the following provinces to make prettier borders, and of course Kiev, and that was one hell of a brutal war. We're talking nearly 1,000,000 casualties on one side. I alone lost 207,000 troops. Without Spain's help, I wouldn't have made it. Speaking of Spain, did I tell you we have a shared dynasty? Oh no, rebellions in Volhynia. I have to send in Polish troops. But after this grueling war with Lithuania, I can finally form the Commonwealth. And honestly, I don't remember what traditions and ambitions the Commonwealth formed from Poland gets. I just remember Polish military ideas are probably better, so I'm showing them to you now. I switched to the Commonwealth, and I think, yeah, Commonwealth ideas are worse. But still, in just 89 years, I achieved the goal of the episode. I think this could be a great save to continue, so let me know what you think. Do you want to see the further fate of the Commonwealth? I'm waiting for your opinions. And here's the promised console, to show I didn't cheat. And if you enjoy campaigns with a thrill, I recommend that episode from Sweden in Victoria 3. where, besides developing the country, I had to fight some really tough wars.